Hello, I'm the future Cork local band number 1 groupie. My name is Bobby Rhodes, so today we are going to be chatting about all the gigs that I've attended by the future Cork local band and places and venues and how got to become the future Cork local band number 1 groupie. Week 1. The first time I saw the future Cork local band perform a gig was in Murphy's Rock Bar in Cork, where Colin Cronin did a cover song of Morning Glory by the Manchester band Oasis, and to be honest, the first time I saw Colin Cronin up on stage I was hooked. The next time I saw the future Cork local band play a gig was in the Brew Bar Hostel in the year 2021, after I had heard that Colin Cronin and the future Cork local band were going to be doing a years-long tour, and this is when I really became the number 1 groupie to the band. I was sitting at the bar in the Brew Hostel when the future Cork local band came on stage. The first night I was cheering them on, and Colin Cronin was amazing. He was so cute, the set list was outstanding, he sang all his original songs which I loved and the crowd loved. I met with Colin Cronin after the show outside the Brew Bar. When Colin Cronin went for his usual cigarette after the show, he was very nice and funny. I told him that I had purchased the future Cork local band's new album titled Live in Europe. Colin was delighted with the news. He said we didn't hang out too much or too long the first night of the show, as Colin Cronin's lift home was waiting for him. I did tell Colin that I would be at his next gig alright, and that I couldn't wait for his next gig. Week 2, so the second gig at the Brew Bar Hostel. When I saw the future Cork local band, I had been at the Brew Bar Hostel for at least an hour before Colin Cronin arrived. I had been having a drink at the bar. It was busy that day, I remember, and I remember thinking, Jesus, was the future Cork local band really going to play here tonight with all these people? And 7 o'clock arrived and the future Cork local band show up at the door. I got my drink and went over to Colin Cronin. I asked him, how's my hero? Then Colin said, I'm grand, and you? He was very kind, but he looked very busy also trying to get ready setting up his equipment. I went back over to my seat at the bar, and I cheered the future Cork local band on as they got set up. The future Cork local band played that night's gig, and Colin, my icon, played really well that night. He even played one of my favorite tracks titled What Does It All Mean. I was weak when he played that song, as I love that song. That night we hung out for a bit after the gig. We finished a beer together and smoked some cigarettes outside. There was another act on after the future Cork local band, but to be honest I had no interest in the other act, as I was there for the future Cork local band Colin Cronin, and I had seen him, and now I had been sitting and having drinks with Colin Cronin. Oh my god, I was in my element. Week 3, the next week, when I saw the future Cork local band arrive at the Brew Bar, I noticed that Colin Cronin was all bandaged up. I asked him what had happened, but he just shrugged it off. He played the gig, had a pint, smoked a few cigarettes. Afterwards he didn't really talk to anyone. I so badly wanted to find out what had happened to Colin Cronin with the bandages. There was no getting answers from him though, no matter why I tried, and I did try every trick in the book. Colin had said that he would be doing one more gig next week and maybe few more depending on how he gets on. He said follow him on his personal Instagram or the future Cork local band Instagram to find out more dates. Week 4, as I thought that this was the last gig the future Cork local band were playing for a while, I decided to get dressed up real fancy. I wore high boots, short dress skirt and a lovely 70s disco belly top, and some jewelry that I got in a second-hand thrift store. I was sure of myself on the night. I even asked the bar staff could I go up and sing a song with the future Cork local band, until they said you would have to ask Colin Cronin, and then I was like, no way am I asking Colin Cronin that. I could ask him anything in the world. What's his favorite drink? Where's his favorite pub? What's his favorite song or band? What kind of underwear is he wearing? I could ask him anything, but one thing I wasn't going to ask him, no chance in hell, I wasn't going to ask Colin Cronin from the future Cork local band could I go up and sing with him on stage. Was terrifying. I was stage struck, so I sat there in awe and watched what I thought was the final and last gig of the future Cork local band in the Brew Bar Hostel. That's me, Bobby Rhodes, sharing my groupie stories for this week about the future Cork local band 2016 and 2021 World Tour. Tune in for more right here on this YouTube channel for part 2 of the future Cork local band tour 2022 and my groupie stories that I have to share. XXX listeners, love you all loads. XXX.